when it comes to dry polishing, wet polishing, dry polishing, it's the same mechanics. So if you work, we're going to work the MB-22, you do the 5X in the same way. Now, some stones require more passes. That's why that squeegee is really key. When you're running wet, you can just squeegee a little bit, the material a little bit over to the side. Look at it. Do you have enough depth? Do you have enough clarity? Do you have enough color? Are you done? If you squeegee it to the side and you think you can do better, put a little water down or spray a little water down, excuse me, and then run a few more passes, squeegee it again. If it gets better, then do it a little bit more. You want to make sure that you don't overdo it. You can overdo all these polishes. And when you overdo them, you can burn the surface a little or you can orange peel it a little bit. So the key here is knowing when to stop. That's why the easy polish is so good, because it's very forgiving. So we're going to do this area here in the bottom part of the countertop. And like I said, more is more. So this is plenty to do many countertops, but you're going to want to. That's a little too much for that. I know that looks like a lot, and I probably would do the entire countertop with this, but I don't. For me, it doesn't matter. Excuse me, powder. It doesn't matter if I'm doing 10 square feet. I'm talking about a floor now. If I'm doing 10 square feet or 100 square feet, I can usually do, say 75 to 80 square feet at one time with 5X on a floor. And I use the same amount whether I'm doing 10, I'm doing a small bathroom, or 75 or 80. I know it could be a little bit messy with the 10, but what it does is it activates itself in the same way. I use the same amount of 5X. Typically, I don't like flood the area, but I use the same amount of water in relation to the 5X so that I'm getting a nice creamy consistency. And then that I work it until I see the shine. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So you're going to use a lot more water. I like to squirt the water right in the center, and then I squirt the water around. And sometimes you can have like a sponge or something to kind of like help you clean the edges and stuff like that. We're working at 1. And when you're working wet with the Makita, you're going to work clockwise. Why is that? Because clockwise is going to give you the best. Clockwise is going to make sure that the slurry stays in the center. You're not flinging it. If you work counterclockwise, everything is going to be pushed to the outside. So when you work clockwise with the Makita, because the Makita spins in a clockwise direction, you're going to make sure that you don't move, you don't throw the slurry everywhere. You can see that it's all kind of staying on the counter. It's not going. I mean, I do have a little bit on the floor over there, but it's a warehouse, so what can I do? Now, when it comes to the 5X or it comes to the easy polish, what you're trying to do here, the MB-22, what you're trying to do here, you're not really counting passes. You're just working it until you feel like you're done. But if you wanted to count passes, you could do like 10 passes each way and circles, making sure that you're overlapping all the edges and corners. Now, you hear the machine? I'm actually not even, I'm using the trigger now. It's not even at 100% at 6. So when I was triggering it up, I was just trying to keep it slow. That's at 1 now. Okay, how are we looking? See? I just want you to see the pad. Let me show you the pad here. the pad has a bunch of 5X on it. I'm sorry, you know, the MB-22 Easy Polish. And there's a big chunk of it right there. Let me get rid of this. There's a big chunk of it right there. See? Now what I'd like to do is I just take it and I put it right back on the pad here. When I squeegee this aside, I'm looking for clarity, I'm looking for depth, I'm looking for a nice shine. Hold on. We're not getting the... There. That's what we're looking for. It's pretty much done. I have a nice tight looking finish. I'm not sure if you can see it from there. Nice tight looking finish. And good clarity. You can see each one of these LEDs. And so now you don't want to leave it sitting here, right? So what we're going to do is you want to run it a little bit more. You're going to loosen everything up, get everything nice and wet again. Run it a little bit more. Now, since we're running wet, I probably should have talked a little bit about the fixtures here. You're going to want to put water between the fixtures so that the splashing, I don't know if you can see the splashing. So that splashing, the spatter marks, little bits here. Even though you're running in clockwise motion, those spatter marks they're hot. So you're basically, you have a acidic liquid that you're pushing into the dry area, and you want to make sure that you don't allow that to dry. So you want to make sure that you put water between those fixtures. You can also put a damp rag there, because when you're running between the fixtures, you can do the same thing outside. So let's see if we have a... That's a beautiful finish. Okay, let's see if I can zoom in on that. Yeah.